Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Moriah GARCIA. Not related to Andy Garcia, or at least not anymore.
Maybe I am.
Not anymore. We're gonna look at EIC Dating Then versus Now. This comes from East India Comedy, the YouTube channel. Thank you to East India Comedy for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciate that you're allowing us to do this, and appreciate your stuff in general. This is loud. Okay, here we go.
EIC!
That's cute.
बधाई हो समधी जी, बधाई हो, बधाई हो।
Oops.
Excuse me, I have a boyfriend.
Well, so do I.
That's funny.
अरे बेटा, तुम्हारी अब उम्र हो चुकी है। 16 साल की उम्र में लड़कियां शादी तक कर लेती हैं।
पर राहुल ने मेरी स्लैम बुक में 143 लिखा था।
क्या?
एक सेकंड। क्या? नहीं।
She went to get a dish just to drop it.
You have grown 28 now.
Get your girlfriend sometime home. Let's meet her up.
Actually, I don't have a girlfriend.
What? गर्लफ्रेंड नहीं है? अरे ये भी हम ही को करना पड़ेगा।
सारी गलती आपकी की है। मैंने कहा था इसे थोड़ा हुकअप्स कर लो।
तुम्हारे लिए क्या क्या नहीं किया? तुम्हारे मोबाइल में डेटिंग ऐप तक डाउनलोड करके दिए।
हर लॉन्ग वीकेंड पे तुम्हें अकेला घर छोड़ा है।
अरे शर्मा जी के बेटे को देखो, पिछले हफ्ते ही उसने थ्रीसम किया। And that too with a lesbian.
आपको कैसे पता?
अरे
फिर मैं गाड़ी को लेके गया गली के अंदर।
फिर
फिर मैंने लाइट की ऑन।
अरे
And then I touched her hand.
हाथ पकड़ो।
वो तो कुछ नहीं है और रेड हो पो।
What a player.
मामले में नहीं है।
So then we went back to his house and we had sex.
I remember Shalini. I was there too. शर्मा जी का बेटा.
I wonder who that is.
Happy anniversary.
Can't believe it's been 25 years.
तो बस हनीमून पीरियड चल रहा है।
Wait till you reach your golden jubilee.
25th minute anniversary. Certainly feels that way, doesn't it?
Thanks, bro. Thank you so much. 25 minutes, so 25 roses, bro. क्या commitment है यार. I admire it. So, what if अरे ladies. Oh.
Yeah, dude, that's so lame.
I know, man.
मैं तेरे लिए बुके के नहीं लाया। तेरे से क्या फॉर्मेलिटी यार? अच्छा, फोन जाकर ना हाइक को मैं भेज रहा हूँ।
अच्छा. Oh, blue packet. मैं कुछ भी खरीद सकता हूँ.
Yeah, bro.
सही है. Thanks, man.
How come you didn't give me a blue packet?
That's because I don't have your number.
Yet.
Wow, right in front of him, huh?
Happy half-minute anniversary, guys.
Way back then.
Send nudes.
It's a painting, isn't it? Yeah.
माशाल्लाह. मुगले orgasm.
Guys, she's asking me for a nude pic. क्या करूँ? भेज देना top angle लेके. नहीं, low angle. You look bigger. Make me look fat. Exactly.
अच्छा सुन ना, your camera is better. फोन देना.
बैलेंस नहीं मेरे पास.
अरे जा ना, जल्दी भेज. और फिल्टर मत लगा. Make it look natural. Hashtag woke up like this. Okay.
Oh God.
भेज दिया. Fuck! I sent it to the wrong chat. Vinod!
ये क्या भेज दिया तूने फैमिली ग्रुप पे?
That would be horrible.
आप अकेले आए हैं?
नहीं, वो आ रहे हैं।
वो?
हाँ वो
मतलब
वो अब मैं कैसी हूँ?
हस्बैंड,
फियांसे,
बॉयफ्रेंड,
संभोग साथी,
लाभ उठाने लायक मित्र।
Hi, I'm वो शर्मा?
वो
I didn't get that.
Yeah, same.
This is my
गर्लफ्रेंड।
giving labels is so regressive.
Oh, open relationship, man.
That's even worse. I don't identify with that label.
Okay, I get it. You're just like a strong, independent girl, right?
Excuse me? Did you just assume my gender?
Relax, Shalini. They're just my friends.
Shalini. Did you just call me Shalini? How many times do I have to tell you? I don't believe in labels.
Okay. Can we just order drinks now? Waiter.
Oh, waiter. Did you just label him too? You all are so regressive.
Fine. Why don't you call him?
मैं तुम्हारे लिए क्या लाई हूँ?
और देखो मैं तुम्हारे लिए क्या लाया।
सर आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है सर, सर कुछ करिए ना सर।
ठीक है, देखता हूँ।
Did you get that?
I think so. I'll have to explain it afterwards.
So did I. चलें?
चलो। ये क्या चल रहा है तेरा?
लाऊ करके आओ सर, लाऊ
तुम इस दरिंदे से क्यों बात करते रहते हो?
God, you have such trust issues. You never have time for me.
A man needs to sleep for 8 hours.
Everything isn't about you. relationship Koay.
Who choose? Act.
7 दिन में एक बार कौन आता है?
Why are you always picking on what I wear? Why are you so commitment phobic?
Why is your mom so clingy?
Marriage? Are you mad?
Was that Chewbacca?
You know what? It's not you. It's me.
The thing with woe, I did not understand. You guys will have to explain that to us in the comments.
But the card.
The request of the card. So it's a very traditional form of marriage that I think everyone used to practice, not just like India, but like around the world. That's how marriage actually came into play. Way back when, marriage was associated with almost like a business property kind of association. Like, okay, I will marry your daughter if you give me this property and these items over here. So it was almost like women were used as a trade. Sometimes people get married, they didn't even want to be with the woman. They just wanted the items associated with the woman or the litany of things that they'll get. This is a very interesting video because it's making fun of both eras. The thing with the labels is a pet peeve of mine because I don't know how you feel about it personally, but like this anti-label movement is very frustrating to me because it makes it very hard to identify things. To me, labels are actually very helpful in order to have a conversation. There are positive labels and negative labels, and that's what you have to look out for and that's what you have to discuss. But to just abandon all labels is a very silly notion in my opinion because like then how do you talk about things? I could go on a tangent like about the whole gender identification thing. It's like that confuses me a lot. Like I'm all for everyone doing what they feel is good for them, but there's this kind of thing that people are imposing right now that makes it very confusing, which is like, well, I don't identify as a man, I identify as a woman. I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know that before, like...
Describing you.
Yeah, but before having a conversation with you, I didn't know that, and like, you can't assume that I should know that in advance unless you've got a card on your chest that says, that's something we're dealing with here in the States currently. There are people who want to be identified as they. I'm like, no, you are one person, my friend. You do not get to be plural. Like,
there's a joke that people who are like that, they would get annoyed with Spanish because everything is male and female.
Yeah.
With El and La.
Is it a joke? Is that the
joke? It's a joke that they would get annoyed because everything has to be labeled.
Right. That's true of a lot of things. In Chinese, it's not like that. In Chinese, I think it's gender neutral, but I think in Japanese, there is, Yeah. It's not just Spanish, but yes. What this is highlighting to me that's interesting is that we're going to this kind of extreme, or we live in this extreme in this day and age, that I think is potentially unhealthy and is very concerning, because back then it was very strict on what you could do, and you had to live within these very tight parameters in terms of what was allowed in terms of relationships.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of loose. There's a balance to be struck, and we need to take it upon ourselves to figure out what that moral compass is. Biologically, it has been determined that just hooking up randomly is not healthy.
Right.
Because that's how you get STDs. Just on a biological level, obviously, this is not a good thing, right? Choosing carefully, you don't have to like get married to the first person you sleep with, but like choosing carefully and not being frivolous is also wise. It certainly illustrates the idea of how far we've come. And I think that what's going to happen is at some point, we're gonna have what I call a rubber band effect, where it's gonna go whoom, and go back to what it was before. It's gonna hit us hard, and it's gonna hit us unexpectedly. I don't know when, I don't know how or why. For instance, back in I think it was ancient Greece, homosexuality used to be very well and widely accepted, and it wasn't a big deal. And it's become a big deal more recently, and now it's not a big deal. And I mean, it's in Los Angeles, it's not a big deal. It's very well accepted here. It's accepted in Canada. At some point, like these things just kind of like rubber band. They really made a point about threesomes in this. Like, okay. Like, I don't think I've ever met two girls who were very that content with sleeping with the same guy. I mean, unless it was at the same time, but even then, it's like, there's still stigmas around that.
Yeah.
There's still like negative associations with that. And I think that girls try to, if they're a part of something like that, they try to keep it to themselves as much as possible if they're not the main Betty.
But you think they need to?
I don't
touches
think...
on that thing where it's like, if the guy had a threesome, he'd be so vocal about it. But if a female does it, we think of her as dirty.
Let me try to.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. I dated two women who found threesomes disgusting, and if they found out that a guy had a threesome, they would immediately disassociate from him. In terms of the relationship, they would break up immediately because they find it gross.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm trying to say is that it's not just women, it's guys as well. If a guy has had one, there are women who find it so disgusting that they will break up with the guy. I think it's more accepted today than it was maybe 15 years ago or 10 years ago, but I think that there is a negative association. You're right. If a girl has been with two men at the same time, there's a negative association with that.
I don't even think it has to be two men. I think it could be a guy and a female. It seems more frowned upon if a girl says that she's partaken in a threesome, whether if it was two guys or a guy and a female, than it is if a guy says that he was in a threesome.
Let me ask you a question, right?
I've never been in a threesome.
No. If you found out that your boyfriend was in a threesome before you, it was with a guy and a girl, not two women, and he was sexually active with that guy. In that scenario, would that make you a little freaked out?
I never even thought of that. But I never thought of if it was a guy. I don't know.
So there are certain associations that accompany like even men who might be into men. There's like certain fears and associations associated with them that we have to like think about and consider. I think that if a girl is with two guys, it has a much stronger appearance than if a girl is part of a couple. But I think we're getting off on a weird tangent here. But
we're touching on some big topics today.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that. I thought we were just reviewing trailers.
That's what Jaby does. I really like this scene here. They celebrate their 25th anniversary and then celebrating their 25-minute anniversary. Yeah. It's obviously being hyperbolic, but I think there's so much truth in that because there's reasons on both ends. I remember this photo, and I bring this up every few months because it just makes me angry, but I find it cringeworthy. There's a photo that you find on the internet. It used to circulate on Facebook of this old couple holding hands, and there's a little caption that says, "There's divorce, but in our day, we had to make it work." And it's this idea that millennials are just looking to opt out at the first chance because they don't want to deal with having the responsibility of a relationship. And it's like, that's not necessarily the reason for this. Back then, in these former eras, women couldn't get jobs as easily as a guy, make anywhere near as much money as a guy, and there was a negative association with being a divorced woman, whereas a divorced guy could get married again. Today, it's more equal, and therefore, you're gonna have more divorces because women don't need to be in those relationships with messed up dudes or just unhappy.
They have their own liberty to be on their own or not feel obligated.
Yes,
and to be
stuck.
with a guy.
That being said, I do think there is a negative to this that has risen, which is like people aren't trying like they used to. Like there's no need to. They can just find someone else.
Well, because of like instant gratification.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we're done. Tinder swipe. Like.
And I feel like I think it's also because with social media and such. Before, if you were dating someone and they were courting you and whatever, you weren't in constant communication with them as you are now. Now it's like you are dating someone and
It's 24/7.
and they're at work and you're Snapchatting each other and you're calling each other and you're texting each other and
Yeah.
you're DMing each other on Instagram and all of this, and you're tagging each other in different posts on Facebook and stuff. It's like so much where you're in constant communication with this person
Yeah.
that dating someone for a month feels like you've been dating for a year because
Yeah.
of how much you have been in communication with each other.
The internet is a very young thing in terms of just, the human experience. I think we're still acclimating to what that is and the responsibilities therein. I don't think internet is even spoken of in schools properly. Internet etiquette, for instance, needs to be a subject that's taught in school at some point. and
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, we're still adapting to the situation, and it's like there is so much truth in that scene where right in front of him, the girl, gives her number to the next guy. It's like it's that quick that where people just move. It's not just women; it's men also, where
Right.
people just move on without regard to like what they just participated in. It's cool on one hand because life keeps moving forward. That's nice, but on the other hand, I don't think we're spending the time to really reflect on what's happening and improving. There's this phenomenon now where people don't remember words like they used to because they can just look it up in their phone. I tend to shut off my phone or put my phone to the side. Like people get frustrated with me because they can't get a hold of me. And I'm like, look, I just don't want to have my phone on me at all times
Right.
because I want to be independent of that and not it being an extension of my body.
I think my favorite part was the beginning, how they meet and they have this connection, and then the parents are like,
Yeah.
that's like selling the mom. I feel like that's my mom with me.
I think that's a lot of parents.
She's she won't even meet the guy yet. I'll just tell her that I'm dating someone and tell her about them and such, and she'll be like, he's the one. He's the one. I was like, you haven't even met him. She's
Yeah.
like, a mother knows.
Yeah.
I was like,
How many times has she said this?
she has said it twice
About two different guys.
about two different guys. Yeah.
Well, it's possible that you just need to have a threesome then. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us.